Hello, everybody, and welcome back. It is Judicious Fire, and I am here with all of the epic heroes in Castle Clash. I'm going to look at every epic hero that this game has released. We're going to do so in chronological order by release date. We'll look at every hero and its purpose in the game, as well as its build. We will look at talent, insignia, adeptness insignia. We will look at traits, enchantments. We will look at the hero assist system and how to set it up. We will look at possible pet pairing as well as the traits recommended for our pets. Please hit the subscribe button and let's keep stuff like this going. Got my shirt and my tie on, going business casual, because today, friends, we're going to take care of business, but we are going to do so casually. This is going to be a long video. Each and every one of these hero studies is going to be time stamped in the general description of this video, as well as the top pinned comment on the page. If you're looking for a specific epic hero, you can find them there. Just click, take you right to it without all of my commentary. But in talking about how to build our heroes and how to build winning hero teams, we are going to look at the mechanics of Castle Clash and look at how this game functions, not just on a hero level, but on a computational level. Let's get started with our look at our epic hero system. We're going to go into the bottom blue tab on the right hand side of our screen. That will take us to the hero compendium. Opens up the mini menu and we see the pink and yellow book. Press that. And we have all of the heroes in the game going back to the very, very beginning. We will start with Cold Conjuress first, and we will make our way to the first hero introduced in our new epic hero system. I hope this video is going to be helpful, and I hope we all enjoy our clashing. Cold Conjuress. Cold Conjuress creates a spawn, a clone, a copy of one of the enemy heroes on the board. You have no control over what hero she happens to copy. The copies are weak and they don't last very long. Cold Conjuress is an average hero. She's able to get her stats up super, super high. But beyond that, I don't really see her having a fundamental purpose in the game. She's not a hero you have to go out and chase. We have a Cold Conjuress with the following build. I have her with the talents of Sacred Light for damage reduction as well as extra health. I also have a Void Walker staff. You want to make sure to use this on Void Walker heroes. They are the purple Warden heroes. Void Walker staff and Sacred Light, no matter how I would pair it up, I would always go with a Wicked Armor. I think that it's going to prevent reflect and deflect, at least to the degree of 5,000 per hit. It's also going to give her an extra attack. She has a nice sniping ability, and beyond that, she really does nothing else other than to create those copies. So allow her to hit while she is creating a copy. Because she's only hitting one hero at a time, reflect and deflect in terms of like a dragon's cover is not really necessary. That kind of reflect mitigation, we don't have to push it that hard. Just put a Wicked Armor on there somewhere. And if you want to have a nice defensive build, there you go. A nice offensive build, there you go as well. She receives a certain amount of health per second. I believe it is 2% of her health every second. I put Radiant Hawk on her. It provides damage reduction, and it provides a 1% health regain every second. So now she's getting 3% health per second, essentially. It's going to help to keep her alive. And that's really what we're going for. This is a defensive game now. We have the adeptness of chaos armor. It's going to be specifically for void walkers. It raises health by 21%. It raises damage reduction. Damage received is lowered by 24%. So all of this works in combination. Damage reduction, while it does not stack upon each other, every bit of damage that you take goes through each layer of damage reduction, getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller until it's just a small hit, we hope. We have equipment. I've got a holy conviction on her. I think that the extra healing and also the extra damage reduction is going to help a great deal. We are at a point in the game where we're just about to take all epic heroes, void walkers, and order bound heroes up to Destiny level 100. That's happening soon. We are currently at skill 14. I will go into her relic system. Relic system, I've got 100% dodge, 100% crit, 30% crit damage. I'll show these for every hero. I will tell you, though, that there is really no decision-making process in this hero relic rolling system. It's really luck. And so what you get is what you get. I think probably a little accuracy, a little dodge, a little health. None of these things would hurt her. But take what you can get here with the hero relic system. She's at breakthrough 35. We have also traits of all accuracy. Yes, you can use her in a support role, but she'll only be supporting herself. She does not heal the team. So I use her as a sniper, and at the same time she's generating those clones. So getting the best of both worlds by having at least the minimum amount of accuracy on her, and that's attained through the trait system. Okay, I will not go into this level of detail for every single hero. I'm just kind of setting the groundwork here and how the mechanics function in hero building. We are in the hero assist system. I'm going to choose a green, white, and red hero. Your stats, your attributes, the bonuses that you apply to your hero through hero assist, that will vary by you, the player. It will be dependent on how high level you have your heroes, what traits they have, also what hero relic traits they have. So always go in here and make your choices based on building a hero that does one thing really well to an expert level. We look at the exclamation points. Take Harpy Queen, for example. She's doing 8,200 attack and 1,800 accuracy. Jump over to Minnow. Now we go to 9,700 attack, but we lose about 500 in accuracy. Jump over to Heartbreaker. We have 10,800 attack and 1,363 crit damage. So this will always vary by player. Some certain heroes get a natural bonus in areas. Look at the exclamation point. Make your choices based on that. For her, accuracy, dodge, health, attack, all of these are good. Depends on how you want to build her and where you want to really push the stats. Let's take a look at her stats. Cold Conjuress coming in at 170,000 attack multiplier. When we have talents like Unholy Pact or War God that do 240% the attack, 200% the attack, that's the number that they're referring to and the one that's going to be multiplied by a talent like that. She is at 4 million health, a very slow attack speed, a relatively fast movement speed, accuracy at 26,000, very, very nice. Dodge is relatively high, although it's not something that I went for with Cold Conjuress. Her crit is very high as well. Crit damage is nasty. And crit resistance of 7170. It would take quite a feat to be able to crit on my Cold Conjuress. Barbarian Rider. Barbarian Rider is a hero that cuts through damage caps and does massive damage to really any hero in the game. I think Barbarian Rider is a superior hero to other heroes that do this same kind of thing. Barbarian Rider is better than a Bloody Mary, better than a Valiant Saintess, better than a Massacre. Barbarian Rider is a very self-sufficient hero, can really stay alive for a long battle. It's also a hero where you don't need to necessarily push damage too hard. Barbarian Rider gets natural attack bonuses through skill. In this game, it is a defensive game, and we want to be able to make sure that our heroes survive, first and foremost, and let their skill do the work for us. I've got two different kinds of builds on Barbarian Rider. We'll take a look at that. She's at Breakthrough 35, Skill 14, Hero Relic level 50. We've got a Dragon's Cover. This is a hero that can absolutely be killed by reflect damage in this game. You've got to have reflect mitigation of some kind, either through Dragon's Cover, which is the more defensive route, or through Wicked Armor, which is the more offensive option. Have the Dragon's Cover as more the defensive build here. When I'm running the Dragon's Cover, I do a Sacred Light. You're going to get massive damage reduction, also a lot of extra health. This can also be a Healing Riposte, which works very, very well because this is an ultra tanky hero and has a high survivability rate. You can pretty much rely that her health is not going to go down to 0 immediately. It's going to go down incrementally. You'll get Healing Riposte to trigger and activate, and you'll get a really nice healing process for this hero. If we are running the attack build, I'm doing Order-Bound Bow. This is about as much massive attack damage as you can possibly get. It's going to be a 200% attack bonus and also energy regain of 125%. That helps to take care of energy reduction in this game. A lot of heroes put out energy reduction. That'll help with that a little bit. Make sure to use it on an order-bound hero, order-bound warden system. When I'm doing this, I've got to have reflect mitigation. Since it's the attack build, let's make it even more attack oriented. Let's go with Wicked Armor. For the adeptness insignia, I have the Tyranny insignia. And this is going to provide a 34% boost of critical rate and 22% boost in critical damage. There will also be a fixed, very strong critical hit that happens every 2.5 seconds. These effects happen in battle, and you won't see those critical boosts happen in statistics until Barbarian Rider's out on the board. We have a hero relic system of crit resist, dodge, and a little bit more dodge. I would probably go first and foremost, if you're going to be picky and choosy, I would absolutely go accuracy. Accuracy is the number one thing to have on Barbarian Rider. Barbarian Rider is a hero killer. A hero killer without accuracy is just dancing around doing nothing. Go with accuracy if you can do it. I already went with accuracy through the trait system. We'll take a look at that in a moment. I have the enchantment of Lethal Blow. It works very, very well with Barbarian Rider. Almost made for her. Gonna be a big attack boost that adds and stacks onto all of the other attack bonuses. And it makes the heroes take more damage in combat. Because Barbarian Rider cuts through all damage caps in this game, that will apply to every hero in the game. Also removes energy. We are getting into traits. We have all accuracy. Gotta have that. Go with accuracy and you won't be disappointed. I've got Drogo Pet on Barbarian Rider. Drogo Pet is a pet that reflects damage. 65% of the damage taken every 4 out of 7 seconds. Barbarian Rider reflects 78% of the damage that she takes every 4 out of 6 seconds. Pets that feature a reflect capability, like Drogo and Cold Drake, they do stack upon the reflect capability of a hero when the hero's skill features reflect. You will see that Drogo, in combination with Barbarian Rider, produces 0 damage. She will be invulnerable for several seconds, then start taking damage again. This works with a variety of heroes like Phobos and Ashura, Commodora to a certain degree as well. Also giving her a 100% attack bonus. I could use a pet that has traits, and I could raise the attack number, that top number, but it will not equal the damage that she does with Drogo Pet, who gives us a 100% attack bonus. So there's a method to that madness as well. We are at about 157,000 attack multiplier, 4 million health. Relatively slow attack speed. That number, that swinging sword, it is a measurement of milliseconds. 1,450 milliseconds is what that represents, or 1.45 seconds. Meaning Barbarian Rider is going to take 1.45 seconds to perform one single attack. Higher that number, the slower the attacker. The boot, the higher that number, the faster the hero moves from point A to point B. 370 is very high. We go up to currently about 405 in this game. We have accuracy super high at 26,000. Majority of heroes are not going to be dodging that unless they're under a variety of bonuses, dodge bonuses. Dodge is quite high on account of the hero relic system. Crit, rather low. Crit damage, rather low. Crit resist, 8825. She couldn't get tickled by a tank. BR, I salute you. One of the great hero killers in this game. Grief Harpist is a head-to-head hero fighter. Definitely a hero killer, but more so for environments and game modes where there's a small board and heroes are lumped together in a group. Think Lost Battlefield, Labyrinth, even Arena. Grief Harpist does a nice job doing initial damage. 2 enemies take damage. Then there is a health-based attack. It's 4% of the hero's maximum health. That can activate and spread throughout a whole crowd of heroes as long as they are nearby one another. That's why head-to-head hero kind of fighting, those types of game modes is where Grief Harpist really does excel. Grief Harpist also takes 50% less damage and is immune to silence. An all-around above average hero. Not the greatest. Not able to cut through damage caps, but still able to wreck shop in certain game modes. We have a Sacred Light as the defensive build, and then a Void Walker staff as our offensive side. If I want to do hero killing, there we go. If I want Grief Harpist to survive, I've got extra damage reduction and health there. I've got a Mutant Sage Lioness. Yes, Mutant Sage Lioness is on Grief Harpist for a couple of reasons. Okay, Mutant Sage Lioness triggers and activates when the hero is under attack. Grief Harpist in a small closed setting, head-to-head hero fighting, is going to be up in the front, thereby allowing Mutant Sage Lioness to trigger. Mutant Sage Lioness also provides an entangle, basically holding the enemy in place. Great for Grief Harpist and successfully using his skill. Also is going to provide a damage reduction to every hero that you have nearby you that's on your team. So in small close quarters combat, that'll be your whole team that benefits from that. We have a hero relic system of dodge, crit, and crit resist. And go accuracy if you can. Attack. I think these would probably be the best for Grief Harpist. Make Grief Harpist the best Harpist that you possibly can. For insignias, I have Wicked Armor and also the Chaos Armor, designed specifically for Void Walkers for extra health and damage reduction. The Wicked Armor I'm going to use regardless of which talent I choose. So defensive build, Sacred Light, and Wicked Armor, where I'm not taking away Grief Harpist's ability to do hero killing. By going completely defensive, still have the Wicked Armor, but now some damage reduction and some health. And full offensive build would be this here. And we're going to get an extra damage boost from our Voidwalker staff and from the Wicked Armor. Makes Grief Harpist, for many heroes, it can be a real hero killer. We have also a Holy Conviction in there for the extra damage reduction. And when there are healers on the team, I want Grief Harpist to be healing up. So you're going to get a healing increase when there is a healing source available. Go into equipment and traits, and we have all accuracy. Without accuracy, Grief Harpist is doing 0. Got to get the accuracy up as high as you can so you're hitting heroes consistently. All right, Grief Harpist is coming in at almost 174,000 attack. 4 million health approximately. Slow attack speed every 1.45 seconds. There's an attack from Grief Harpist. Very high movement speed, 375. Accuracy, super nice. Dodge, nice because of the hero relic system. Crit, relatively decent. Crit damage, not so high. Crit resist, that's brutal. So it is tough to crit on the Grief Harpist. You got to get a much higher number than that if you want to consistently crit against Grief Harpist. An above average hero, excels in certain game modes, but is not a hero that I think has a great deal of purpose in utility from game mode to game mode. Not a hero that you're grabbing every day for team building. Colossus. Colossus is the ultimate tank. Colossus is going to have no attack really whatsoever in this game. Just going to be a great meat shield. In fact, such a meat shield that he actually absorbs the damage that other heroes on your team are taking. He's able to provide a small heal to 2 heroes on your team. He is not a healer. He's not a substitute for a dedicated healer on a hero team. He's not a Walla Walla. But he does provide a healing effect. His ability to absorb damage can be very, very helpful, especially in longer game modes. Can be very helpful in a base attack scenario where you are attacking an opponent's base. Keep your heroes alive a lot longer this way with a good Colossus on your side. With no attack really to speak of and really just defensive properties, I consider him a support hero. He's not a hero killer. He's there to support the heroes on your team so they can kill heroes. I've got him built with 2 defensive builds here. I've got Sacred Light, damage reduction and health. I also have a Flame Guard, ability to raise health by 80%. That's very substantial. And also reflect, deflect 55% of the damage taken in combat. Flame Guard is starting to make its way out of Castle Clash due to the fact that There are enchantments, and there are a variety of conditions that tend to dispel Flame Guard, but it still has its property, it still has its use. If used on the proper hero, then it can provide, in many ways, an extra hit in combat. There's the hit that Colossus is doing with a basic attack, and then there is the hit that the enemy receives from reflected damage against them. So this is about as offensive, the Flame Guard is about as offensive as you're going to get with Colossus, and still have him excel at what he's designed to do, which is to take damage for other heroes. With the Sacred Light, I am going to go with a healing riposte, give the guy a massive heal, give him a little bit of invulnerability. Remember, he's going to be a meat shield taking a heck a ton of damage for your team. Give him the ability to survive it with some damage reduction, as well as to heal up, even go invulnerable with the healing riposte. With a Sacred Light, you could also, if you're not having a problem with healing, you could also go with a Soul Healer to reduce the healing of the enemy. Really nice, and it allows Colossus to be an even more effective supporter of your team. Bring down the health of the enemy. Don't let their healing process continue. For the Flame Guard, I can go with a Sacred Light as well. Don't worry about putting a Sacred Light or a Stone Skin damage reduction on heroes that reflect, or talents that have a reflect capability. The really nasty heroes in this game have damage caps, and they might only be able to take 30,000 damage, 50,000 damage, 70,000 damage. Well, if they're hitting you for 2 million and you're reflecting, let's say only 20% of that, that's 400,000 damage you're putting back at them. You'll always be hitting damage cap against the really nasty heroes in this game. So a Flame Guard and Sacred Light makes a very nice pairing. You could go a Flame Guard Soul Healer, but now you're really bringing his damage reduction down, so be careful of that. To help with that, I have the Lawful Shield insignia. It's going to give him a health bonus of 21% and also damage reduction of 24% here only at level 5. If you look at, just on a brief aside, if you look at the Inspire insignia, it's going to provide basically the same amount of health bonus at level 5, but it'll also provide a dodge. Unfortunately, that dodge has a cooldown. 2.5 out of 5.5 seconds, it's not operating. But with the Lawful Shield, as well as the one made for Voidwalker heroes, the health and the damage reduction are going to be happening all the time. No cooldown. Seems to be, so far, a much more reliable second insignia to use. We have Hero Relic system of accuracy. He doesn't really need it because he's not doing any real attacking against the enemy. Probably better to put dodge and health on this guy if you could be picky and choosy. Dodge and health. He's got 100% dodge and decent crit damage. This is what I came up with. I've got a Q Kitsune on him. Q Kitsune is one of the best mutant and super pets in this game. I use Q Kitsune on multiple heroes in multiple game modes on a daily basis. Q Kitsune is a pet that provides the tiniest little bit of heal, not really much, but a big dodge bonus. That dodge bonus of 18%, it can add or stack when you're running 2 Q Kitsune pets. The Reflect from Cold Drake pets also does the same. The damage reduction and healing from Radiant Hawks are also doing that same stacking. Here we're getting a nice dodge bonus. This is a pet where you should put dodge traits, because Q Kitsune serves no other purpose other than to provide dodge to your team, so put dodge traits on there. Really nice pet for support heroes. Let's go into our equipment. I've got Holy Conviction, perfect for support heroes, extra healing process, extra damage reduction, can't go wrong. Traits, all dodge. I could also make the argument that all health or all crit resist could be great too. I wouldn't go damage or attack damage or accuracy because he's not an attacker, doesn't need it. Support hero, do your best to keep him alive by giving him damage reduction, ability to dodge out of harm's way, ability to stack health, and to get that up as high as possible. Keep this guy in the battle. Colossus is at about 153,000 attack, has I think about 4.2 million health. One of the highest health heroes that I have. Very, very slow attack speed. Every 1.6 seconds is going to be doing a basic attack. And relatively fast movement speed. We've got an accuracy. This comes from the hero relic system and not something I chose. Just came up that way. An accuracy of 30,000. That's amazing. Dodge of nearly 30,000 as well. It will be that number that is then multiplied or expanded upon by 18% as a result of Q Kitsune when Colossus is out on the board. Crit, nothing to really speak of. Crit damage, that's brutal. That's putting heroes through a blender. But the guy's not an attacker. The guy doesn't have a critical ability that even makes it functional or worthwhile. If I were to give him a critical ability, I would simply be making a generalist. Beware generalists in this game. Don't try to get all those numbers up high. You will find that you have a hero that is average at a whole bunch of things, but an expert at none. Make this guy an expert tank. Damage reduction, dodge, extra health, keep him alive, keep him in the battle. It'll help your other heroes to succeed. Royal Mummy. Royal Mummy is an interesting hero. Very much like Grief Harpist, I think that Royal Mummy is best in player versus player game modes where there's a small board, Lost Battlefield, Labyrinth, Arena, where you're face to face fighting heroes in a small environment, not many squares to move. She is going to paralyze at least one hero. That can then spread to nearby enemy heroes. That's why I want the enemy in a bunch all clustered together there. It'll help to maximize her skill effect. She's going to do damage to them rapid fire over a course of 4 seconds. 8 separate attacks will happen. She's going to reflect a lot of damage, 60%. You can put Drogo Pet on her too for that attack boost, as well as zeroing her out on damage for a certain number of seconds. She's also going to remove energy from them. A good face-to-face hero killer, and should be designed to do that. I've got her with 2 different kinds of builds. I've got her with a Dragon's Cover. You have got to have Reflect mitigation on her. She is somebody who can take Reflect and it can kill her pretty quick. So I've got a defensive and an offensive side to the build. Dragon's Cover, defensive, damage reduction, keeping Reflect down to just 5,000 per Reflect. When I'm running that, I can do a Sacred Light. Now I've got a very, very defensive Royal Mummy, allowing her skill to do the work for me. She is paralyzing. She's doing not so much damage that she's necessarily killing off heroes, but she is helping your other heroes to kill off those heroes. So you've got to have her as part of a hero attack team, but she shouldn't be the star hero killer. She doesn't have it in her, but she'll help to make the other heroes that kill a star. I've got her with that Chaos Armor, I believe. Yes, Chaos Armor. I think it's a good idea on these epic heroes to give them that extra health and damage reduction. This means no matter how you build them or whatever you want to run, full offensive build, you at least have some extra health and damage reduction in there, in the mix, in the blend. For our attack, Voidwalker staff, like I've done with a couple of prior heroes. If I'm going all attack, I better be worried about reflect. So now I'm not worried. Keeps it to 5,000, but also gives her a huge 150% attack bonus. Even though I don't have damage reduction with Voidwalker staff and Wicked Armor, I still have that Chaos Armor in there just in case. I've got her with a pet, the new Titan pet. That new pet is great for player versus player game modes. Just like the pet on Grief Harpist, you're going to find that it is activating, triggering when the hero is under attack. Okay, put her up in the front of your Lost Battlefield team, then you know that this pet's going to be operating. This pet provides a paralyze to all the nearby enemies in target. So, small groups, small board, perfect. This pet provides a paralyze for a certain number of seconds. She provides a paralyze for a certain number of seconds. She only paralyzes a maximum of 3 at a time, so that's why putting her together with this particular pet is really taking care of any of your paralyzation wishes. Everybody's going to get all paralyzed up now. That pet also does a really nice job of increasing the attack ability of everybody on your team, as long as they're nearby in a group, by 14%. So really nice pet to have on her. For hero relics, I've got HP, crit damage, and crit resist. For equipment, I have the lethal blow. Extra attack, as well as raising the damage that the heroes take in combat. Enemy's going to be taking more damage. On account of this pet, your heroes are going to be doing more damage against the enemy. Creates a really nice synergy. Meanwhile, with all this paralysis going on, they tend to just stand there getting beaten on. We've got a all accuracy build. She is a hero killer, not one of the top hero killers in the game, but her purpose is to do damage to heroes. Without accuracy, she is doing nothing. In fact, less than nothing. She stands still for a lot of her skill activation. She's got to have accuracy, or she's just standing there like a dunce. All right, she's coming in at 166,000 attack. She's got 4.1, 4.2 million health. Slow attack speed every 1.5 seconds. A relatively slow movement speed at only 300. Her accuracy is through the roof. On this Titan pet, I have chosen to put all accuracy. That, in addition to the 20,000 accuracy that she gets from traits, it ends up being 41,400. Really, nobody's dodging that. Her dodge is quite high as a result of the upgrading process, hero relic system. Crit is really nothing to speak of. Crit damage is tremendous, and that is an option as well. Of course, this will vary based on player and what kind of hero relic traits you end up coming up with, but I could always put a Vigorous Fury on her with maybe the Dragon's Cover talent, a Vigorous Fury insignia. Now all of a sudden she will crit, and when she does, it will cause tremendous damage. Her crit resist is amazing, nearly 9,000. Royal Mummy, like Grief Harpist, a decent hero, above average epic hero. A hero that has niche game modes, player versus player, small board, best used in that environment, but not a hero that you're grabbing every day for a variety of game modes in Castle Clash. Cold Heir. Cold Heir, I think it's safe to say, he's one of the top 5 epic heroes that have been released so far by IGG here in Castle Clash. Cold Heir is a great hero. Especially, I think he excels in base defense. Yes, he can be used offensively and can be used wonderfully. It's all based on play style. I find him to be a wonderful base defender. He is a hero killing hero. He does a lot of damage. It's sustained damage over time. It causes a disarm and inhibit. It locks the heroes up. They can't gain energy and momentum using their normal methods. They kind of become weaker, smaller, fragile versions of themselves that stand there getting sniped away by the rest of your heroes. He's really, really good for that. He also has a damage stacking effect. It's not going to be huge. It ends up being something like 15 or so, 18% maybe extra. But it's an effect that can't be removed or dispelled in combat. For Cold Heir, I have two different kinds of builds. And I am looking at him in terms of typically how I run him, base defense. I've got a Dragon's Cover. The Dragon's Cover can always be paired up with, let's say, an Empower. He's an auto proc hero, so in a base defense scenario, now all of a sudden he's firing away without having to do direct contact with the enemy. Every couple of seconds, his skill will be activating on its own due to the auto proc effect. I also then have him not taking too much reflect damage and getting a nice damage reduction from the Dragon's Cover. If I were attacking with the guy, I could always go with an order-bound bow. All of a sudden, I've got still damage reduction, the damage mitigation, reflect mitigation, and the extra attack from order-bound bow. I've got him with a Empower on the other side. This is for just base defense. Okay, with the Empower, if I'm not too worried about reflect, but usually I am, I can always run the Empower with an order-bound bow. Great against the computer, where reflect damage is not so bad as it is in player versus player. Typically, I might be running a Wicked Armor instead. Now, all of a sudden, a auto proc from the Empower and a Wicked Armor, making him even deadlier while keeping the reflect down. Just a moment for a brief aside about insignias. You're going to find that as I go through these heroes, I'm typically having the same, 6, 7, 8 talents. I pick certain talents because they have a very low insignia bonus. Let's take a look at this, for example. I have Empower with a Wicked Armor. That Wicked Armor gives me 7,928 extra attack added to his attack multiplier. That is then multiplied by 150%. So I'm getting nearly 8,000 attack boost just to his basic attack multiplier. Now, if I were running Empower as an insignia, I'd be getting 5,205. So I'm losing out on about 2,800 attack. And when they're taken through all these attack multipliers, 2,800 attack is really nothing to sneeze at. So I tend to put talents in there that have a low insignia bonus. Things like Dragon's Cover, Flame Guard's quite low, Empower and Sacred Light are quite low. And then I run, your order-bound bows, or your typically like Wicked Armor, or if I'm going to be doing maybe one of the Favors talents, I'm going to be using those as an insignia so I can get all of that extra attack bonus from the insignia itself. I've got a Mutant Radiant Hawk on him. Mutant Radiant Hawk. On my Mutant Radiant Hawk, I have straight attack. I'm not worried about the man's accuracy. It's quite high. We'll get there in a minute. I want to give him as much extra attack as possible. Even when I'm running the Dragon's Cover, And I also want to give him some extra damage reduction. And I want to give him a healing process, which is something that he lacks entirely. Now, all of a sudden, he's healing. He's got a little bit of damage reduction and a huge attack boost. Radiant Hawk is one of those great pets that helps to keep our heroes alive, but also gives us the option to make them even deadlier in combat. I've got a hero relic system of a little bit of crit resist, a ton of accuracy, and a ton of crit is being added to him as well. We'll look at those numbers in a second. For equipment, Holy Conviction, give him damage reduction. Now all of a sudden the healing process provided by Mutant Radiant Hawk is going to be increased by 180%, giving him really nice heals and all accuracy for his traits. Back to insignias for a second. I've got the Tyranny insignia that provides extra crit and extra critical damage. I do this because the man's primarily a hero killing hero. I want to make him better at that. Regardless of which side I go with, Dragon's Cover and Power, if I'm attacking or defending with him, I want to give him that crit and critical damage capability and bonus in combat. Numbers, we are looking at 174,000 attack, nearly 4 million health, a little bit faster attack speed than some of the other heroes we've looked at. Every 1.25 seconds he's doing an attack. Super high movement speed, movement from point A to point B on the board up at 400. I have almost 42,000 attack on the guy. Dodge is up at almost 12,000. Crit is very high. He's going to be critting on, I'm not going to say the majority of heroes, but probably about half the heroes out there are going to have less crit resist than that. The crit damage, not so great. Crit resist, relatively high. A little lower than some of the other heroes that we looked at, but I'm trying to make him a hero killer with an eye of keeping him alive so he can do some hero killing. Cold Heir is one of the top epic heroes. Great base defender, great all-around hero, nice combination to any team, nice combination for any kind of defense, whether it be a player versus player or a player versus the game. Massacre. Massacre, very much like Barbarian Rider and Valiant Saintess and Bloody Mary. Massacre is able to break damage caps. So heroes that have a damage cap like Saphirica or Levanica or Dynamica, they are going to be able to take full damage from one of his skill activations, one of his 2,800 attack skill activations. He does a massive amount of damage. Problem is, Massacre is very easily confused, confounded, and flat out stopped in this game. There are a lot of conditions in Castle Clash. So many that Massacre finds himself basically stuck in a corner somewhere. He is only immune to silence. That is the only immunity that he receives. Massacre, I would not put him up there as a great hero. He's one of the lackluster epic heroes that, while on paper looks like he's going to be really great, in practice he really comes up short. As far as his build, I have a defensive and an offensive build. This is how I build my heroes whenever there's a skin. That way I get two completely different utilities out of the same hero. Why have two attack builds? Just have one really great attack build. Why have two defensive builds? Just have one really great defensive build. So I try to do the best of both worlds, and depending on the game mode, I can make my choice based on that. Dragon's Cover. With the Dragon's Cover, I'm going to put probably a Sacred Light. I could also put a Healing Riposte on there. to give him an extra heal. He does get a possibility of stealth or elusive, as well as a healing process, but I wouldn't rely upon it. Because he is a hero killing hero, I have the Tyranny insignia for extra crit and extra critical damage. It will not show up on his stats. He has to be in combat for that to happen. On the other side, I have Voidwalker Staff. I've got that huge 200% attack boost, but you better believe I gotta put a Wicked Armor on there to cut down on the reflect damage that he takes. Now bringing it down to just 5,000 per reflect. Relic system, I have crit to 100 crits and also 30% attack. That means that when I am running Dragon's cover, I can put a brute force on him, and all of a sudden I get 140% attack bonus, and the critical hits that he does in combat will get a damage multiplier. So those crits will be even more deadly. If I put that brute force and paired it up with the Voidwalker Staff, I no longer have reflect mitigation of any kind. And I will find that he hits a hero once and dies immediately from the reflect that comes back at him. So I would do that with the Dragon's cover. As far as his pet, I have Mutant Chimera. On my Chimera pets, I put all attack, straight attack. Chimera provides an immunity to a hero, an immunity to stun, freeze, petrify, and entangle. It also increases the energy regain rate of the hero. It will also restore health, but I wouldn't rely on that. It's not a healing pet, it's a support pet that helps to dispel immunities and provide extra energy regain. It helps with Massacre, because at least now you can check 3 or 4 different immunities off the list, at least for 3 out of 6 seconds. Allows them to at least get the engine going. For equipment, I have Holy Conviction. Keep him alive, give him at least that damage reduction no matter where or how I'm running him. There's always going to be some damage reduction. And all accuracy. He is designed to kill heroes. Without accuracy, he will do nothing at all. Massacre's got about 174,000 attack, coming in at about 3.9 million health. 1.3 seconds it takes him to perform an attack. He has currently in Castle Clash the highest movement speed at 405. Accuracy of 26,000. I think that's sufficient. It can always be boosted up by using pets that have an accuracy effect in their traits, but 26 will do for now. Dodge is decent. I'm not going for dodge on him though. Crit is super high. Even some of those heroes we looked at already that had massive crit resist may be hit by his crit, especially when you factor in the crit increase of 34%. Now he will be critting, and that's where that brute force really does start to shine with the crit damage that it provides. Crit damage, while it's only 6,000, it will go through that multiplier. And crit resist, not super high, but enough to get the job done. Massacre, not a hero you need to chase after in this game. Not a hero that is a make or break hero. There's nothing dependent in Castle Clash on having a Massacre. We already established that Barbarian Rider is a far greater Massacre. She is twice the hero that Massacre could be, so don't drive yourself nuts chasing the Massacre. Axe Punisher. Axe Punisher is definitely in the top 5 of epic heroes that have been released so far in this game. He's one of the premier epic heroes. He is a hero that I would actively seek out. He will make base raiding, base destruction, and more specifically building destruction a heck of a lot easier in this game. He is a wonderful base destroyer and building blower upper. I have found that he does not do a very good job at killing off heroes or doing hero damage when you're taking on heroes that are really high breakthrough, that are built well, that have a nice support team. He's not going to do that. What he does do is smash up buildings, and that's really kind of how I use him. He also has a really nice healing process. I wouldn't always rely upon it, but I do rely upon him to stay alive. He is a hero that if you build him with some damage reduction and some dodge, you don't need a revive, you don't need any of that kind of stuff. He won't ever die. I've got him with two different kinds of builds. I've got him with a Sacred Light. That would be my attack build. If I'm going out to do base damage and blow up buildings, I want to give him a Sacred Light. If I have him on my base defending, and I have used him in base defense, I'm going to have him with an Empower. He is an auto proc hero. His skill will naturally generate every couple of seconds and keep auto firing even when he's not under direct attack of any kind. But don't expect him to be killing off the heroes that come rushing your base. He does a much better job of hitting them and immobilizing them, locking them up, so your other hero killers can come in and take care of business. This guy is designed to smash up buildings. This is also why I do not have an attack talent on him. I don't find that there's any reason for an attack talent like Orderbound Bow or Unholy Pact or War God, because he's just designed to smash up buildings. And we've got buildings that have 9,000 health. Well, when he's dropping a 1.5 million strike just naturally, you don't have to worry about the Pet Plaza surviving. He is also a hero that will not take damage when his skill is activating. So something like a Dragon's Cover or a Wicked Armor would be wasted on him. You want to avoid those talents. Just give him damage reduction, extra health. That's great, especially when dealing with Dynamicas. Give him the ability to auto-proc in base defense form if you want to explore that option. When I've got the Sacred Light on him, I'm running a Heal and Riposte. I think it's his best. Sacred Light means damage reduction and a huge health pool. Now all of a sudden he goes invulnerable, gets a big heal, and part of his skill description also indicates a huge heal when he drops below a certain amount of health. So you're basically then guaranteeing that he's going to get this massive healing process. This is why he doesn't die in base attacks. I've got him with a level 7 Lawful Shield for extra health and extra damage reduction. I have him with a dodge, attack, and health on his hero relics. I think probably all dodge would be the best thing to have. If not, health and crit resist. I see zero reason to have accuracy on him. He's not a hero killer. Attack, because he's not killing heroes and just smashing buildings, attack would be overkill. You don't need it. So this is what I came up with. I stick with that for now. I've got Cute Kitsune Pet on him for the extra dodge. She will provide dodge. I also have all dodge on Cute Kitsune in terms of traits. For the Sacred Light with the healing repost, we've got that. Also with the Empower, I can do a healing repost, but I would probably much prefer to have a Sacred Light in there. And if I'm not running the Sacred Light, I can always do something like even a Soul Healer, and any nearby enemies get their healing capability basically stripped from them. For equipment, I've got Holy Conviction, extra damage reduction, greater healing process for himself, and all dodge. Higher dodge I found that you can get on this guy, the better. That's why he pairs up so well with Q Kitsune. Axe Punisher is coming in at 172,000 attack. And he's just blowing up buildings. You don't need to push attack on this guy. Just make him an ultimate tank and let him survive. He's at a little over 4 million health. He's got a slow attack speed at every 1.4 seconds. He's got a very high movement speed. Accuracy is low. I'm not worried about hitting heroes. Dodge is super high. He will get an additional dodge bonus atop that in combat. Crit damage, not worried about. Crit resist is very nice on the guy. And with 7225, I'm more than happy with that. Axe Punisher, try to get this hero. If you don't have a Minotaur Chieftain, Axe Punisher, I would bet is, by my call, he would be second best in terms of the capability to smash a base. I would also think that Axe Punisher in many ways is even superior to a Minotaur Chieftain because Axe has much more survivability and he will be raining down those axes all over the base long after Minnow would have passed away. Axe Punisher, one of the best base smashers in Castle Clash. Alright, Mad Inventor. Mad Inventor is below average epic hero. He does auto proc. He is an auto proc hero. The skill activation just happens to one specific area of the board. Unfortunately, we're not able to choose where that is. It is completely randomized. He gets a dodge bonus. He gets an attack stack effect and becomes a stronger version of himself over time. He's not a hero that I personally would go out attacking with because he is always randomly attacking the enemy. You would have no control over where he's hitting, whom, and why. You might end up doing a lot of base damage when you didn't want that. You might not hit the heroes that you happen to be attacking at the time. I would just use him in base defense. I find as a base defender against human opponents, player versus player, I find him to be a below average base defender as well. I think that the only place that Mad Inventor really does an okay job is base defense against the computer. That could be something like a Here Be Monsters, a Hero Trials, things like Infernal Summit and Wailing Rift. He can do very well there. I've got him with two different types of builds. I've got him with a Dragon's Cover. With the Dragon's Cover, I can always put an Empower on top of that. Still keep the auto proc. I'm using him against the computer. I've got that Chaos Armor insignia for extra health and damage reduction. If I want him only to be auto procking and I'm only going against the computer with the guy, I can do that with a Wicked Armor to give him a little bit of extra attack. Not worry about reflect and deflect. He's not a hero killing hero, so against a human opponent, you're going to do a little damage, but you're not going to be taking out well-built heroes that are breakthrough 30 plus. But against the computer, he can hold his own. I've got him with Radiant Hawk. I have all attack on my Radiant Hawk. I'm not really worried about that. I'm worried about giving him damage reduction and a healing process. That is something that he lacks. He has no heal at all. Now he does with Radiant Hawk. For his relic system, I've got massive crit damage on this guy. That's what came up. I think probably accuracy, maybe crit resist, maybe attack would be good. But you got to have a high enough accuracy that he's actually able to hit. If you're taking on only computer opponents using him like I am, accuracy is not really as big of a deal. Our computer opponents tend not to have very high dodge. They also tend not to have very high accuracy. Their overall statistics are rather low, even if their attack ability is quite high. With the Empower, we've got that set up right there. Yes, yes, yes. And with our friend, okay, we go into Holy Conviction. Now all of a sudden he's getting 180% bonus from the Radiant Hawk heal, as well as any healers that you have on your team. So he's going to get a greater healing effect. Also damage reduction, help keep him alive. Give him accuracy, otherwise he's doing 0 in this game. So even against the computer, he would just stand there sucking his thumb if he didn't have accuracy. It's got to be in there in this build somewhere. You got to get his accuracy up. Before we look at his numbers, because of his huge dodge boost, I think Cute Kitsune Pet could also be a really nice option for him pet-wise. But Cute Kitsune is not going to be providing the heals or the damage reduction that our friend Mutant Radiant Hawk is going to be providing. So it depends. It really depends on the game mode that you're using and in what capacity. Either one of those two would work. Numbers. Oh, he is coming in at 175, basically 175,000 attack, about 3.9 million health. Slow attack speed every 1.35 seconds. He's doing an attack. Very high movement speed. Very nice accuracy at 26,000. Relatively decent dodge. And the dodge bonuses that he gets is going to make that even higher. Crit is quite low, but that crit damage is through the roof. Please remember crit and critical damage in this game. Crit is the likelihood to perform a critical strike in combat. Crit damage is the damage that is provided by that critical strike. If you have 38,000 critical damage and only 4,800 crit, you're probably not going to crit, and the damage is useless. Does nothing. So if I wanted to take advantage of that high crit damage, I would want to put a Vigorous Fury on him somewhere to increase his critical ability, or a Sharpen, which will increase his crit ability as well as his accuracy. So make sure that crit is up there real nice and high. And crit resist is quite high as well. Mad Inventor, I've put him towards the bottom of the epic heroes. It's a hero that's kind of an afterthought. He's not a hero that I use often or really at all in this game. There are other heroes that do a far, far better job at what he is attempting to do. So don't go chasing Mad Inventor if you haven't gotten him. Let him come naturally. Water Priestess. Water Priestess is a support hero, 100%. She is going to provide a heal, but only to heroes that are around her in the nearby area. So they all have to be clumped together in a group. She does not have a global heal of any kind. She does this water wave attack. It's basically useless. She also is immune to a variety of conditions and grants a little bit of immunity to energy reduction effects. She is a hero that has a support utility and serves a purpose in this game. If I could be so bold, she is the only real healer of a team that happens to be a member of the new Epic Heroes and the new Epic Warden system. That in and of itself does justify her existence. If you want to have an order-bound Warden team and you need to have a healer on that team, you would go with Water Priestess to make sure that you get an order-bound Warden team together. Really, that's the only way I've ever used her. When I do use her, I use her primarily on base defense to provide that order-bound Warden. Make sure I've got about 4 order-bound Warden, 3 or 4 order-bound Warden heroes on the team. I keep her in the center of the base There are only a few mutant and super pets in this game that are going to be activating all the time. All the others are dependent on the hero directly attacking or the hero being attacked by the enemy. Cute Kitsune is on her. Few others that you would have to choose from are Bellicose Bull. Bellicose Bull will always be activating, so put that on a hero that's in the center of your base, and Bellicose Bull will be auto-firing throughout the board. Cold Drake as well. Both the Drakes do a great job at that and will always be auto-firing. The Sullen Serpent pet will also be doing a great job at reducing healing and will continually attack the enemy on its own. When she is sitting in the center of the base, I've usually got a Cute Kitsune on her or another pet that does do an auto effect, and that's going to be the healing portion and damage reduction portion of Mutant Radiant Hawk. I've found that auto-firing, auto-activating pets, the best are like Cold Drake, Bellicose Bull, and Sullen Serpent. You can put it on any hero in the center of your base and know the whole time that it will be doing its job. For Water Priestess, because I only use her as an auto-proc hero, center of the base, support hero, base defense, I really only have one build on her. The other build is very, very niche. I have a Dragon's Cover, damage reduction, and if she ever happens to hit somebody with that water wave, the reflect won't kill her. That's important. I've got her with an Empower, so she is able to auto-proc. Remember the Insignia bonus. Dragon's Cover is going to give you maybe 2,500 extra attack bonus. Meanwhile, an Insignia of Empower is going to give you about 6,000. I've got her with the Lawful Shield Insignia, no matter what. Give her extra health, give her extra damage reduction. She is a support hero. Don't worry about attack in any way. She's just there to support your team, to buff them, to increase their attack if the hero happens to be nearby her. She's not Walla Walla. So they all have to be clustered around her to get the heal and to get the attack bonus. I've got Cute Kitsune on her to boost her dodge. Let's look at her hero relics. I'll show you that other talent. It's a Sunder. It seems strange. If I were running the Sunder, I would be running a Brawler's Favor and a Tyranny Insignia for the crit damage. I would also be running some kind of an attack pet, probably a high DPS pet like a Chickaboom. I don't use her in Archdemon or something like that. But if you want to get Orderbound Warden activating, and you're in an Ember army or a Here Be Monsters, or you're doing a Lonely Sea, or you're doing even in some cases like a Wailing Rift, and you want super high DPS so the thing doesn't take 2.5 minutes to get done, this will take care of business. I find also against goblins, centaurs, mini archdemons, and Lost Realm, this can be a very nice build, but like I said, it's extremely niche. I don't recommend it for all situations, or that it would be everybody's cup of tea. But it does do its thing when I want to build that specific team and I want to do a lot of damage in a relatively short period of time. Let me get my stuff back the way it was. Okay. For our hero relic system, I've got a dodge, wonderful. Support hero. Health, wonderful. Accuracy, don't need it, but I'm not gonna turn it down. I've got a Holy Conviction. I'm not sponsored by Holy Conviction. I'm not employed by Holy Conviction. Holy Conviction is not blackmailing me. I do not owe Holy Conviction a favor of any kind. It is one of the only enchantments in Castle Clash that provides, it might be the only enchantment, that provides both damage reduction and a greater healing process. This is good for nearly any hero. In fact, I might even say any hero, because today we have so many heroes that break damage caps. Even a Holy Conviction on something like a Dovekeeper or a Zephyrica can have its utility. But on a hero without a damage cap like Water Priestess, and on a hero that is a support hero, this can be invaluable. Equipment, all dodge. That's all she's there to do. She's there to sit in the center of the base, provide an attack bonus to whoever happens to be nearby, and an occasional heal. Let's look at her numbers now. Even though she's not built for attack, purely as a support hero in a support role, she's got some really, really high statistics. She's coming in at about 157,000, 158,000 attack. She is at 4.2, 4.3 million health. Super slow attacker. 1.8 seconds it takes her per attack. And she has relatively fast movement speed at 355. Accuracy, it is not in any way a benefit to her. She's not a hero killer. All the things that our support heroes do, like healing or providing an attack boost, an accuracy boost, a critical boost, none of those can miss in this game. Positive buffs or bonuses provided by another hero cannot miss your team ever. So there is no reason to have accuracy on a support hero unless you want to make sure that the support hero is supporting and also hitting the enemy. But please beware generalists. Try to make sure that her dodge is really, really high. That's what I did here. Kikutsuni will boost that even more in combat. Crit damage, not worried about. Crit resist, like that very much. Water Priestess, she's an above average epic hero. I think she could best be graded with this statement, okay? Right now she's getting a solid C+, B-. But the moment they put out a B+, A- epic healer that also provides a boost, bonus, buff like Water Priestess does, but does so globally like Walla Walla, you'll never touch Water Priestess again. So she is not a necessary hero by any means and has a limited utility in this game. Boa Queen. Boa Queen is a complex hero. I'm going to try to be brief. Boa Queen is a hero that functions very much like a Dovekeeper. She will spawn little helpers in combat. Downside is this. Her little helpers, her little boas that come out onto the board, they are extremely slow. And they are extremely slow to engage the enemy. She is a hero that has an auto-proc ability, and so with an Empower, she will auto-fire, auto-generate those boas. But you will find if you use her for base defense that your base has already been 100%ed by the time she's finally sent the last boa out. Extremely slow in delivering boas, and those boas have a slow attack speed. So in terms of her auto-proc base defense capability, she's somebody that I've never had any success with. In terms of hero attacking, I don't find her to be a very good hero killer. She is, again, quite slow. The damage that she does is not super substantial. And she does nothing to break damage caps or to really cause the enemy the kind of harm that we need to do these days, especially against heroes like a Dynamica. Boa Queen does have some capabilities, especially in a player versus computer game mode, and I see that she does thrive in that particular category. I have two builds. I have a Dragon's Cover, because she will take reflect damage in this game, and it will kill her. And I have her with a Voidwalker staff. It's going to give her extra attack. I've got her at adeptness level 100. I'll get back to that in a moment and explain why. I've got a level 8 Tyranny insignia, now giving us 66% critical increase and 42% extra crit damage, as well as doing fixed damage every 2.5 seconds. In this particular build, I would be attacking with her. I've done that maybe 5 times since she was released. I almost never run this. It just happens to be here. She's got 2 talents. I want to have a defensive or player versus player attack-oriented build. Some other option. I've got her with Sullen Serpent. Sullen Serpent provides a constant attack no matter where Boa Queen is located, even if it's in the center of your base. Sullen Serpent will be auto-firing the entire time, just like Cold Drake and Bellicose Bull do. Sullen Serpent reduces healing and also does damage. Well, why would you want to reduce the healing of the enemy? Well, you want to kill them off. That's why you want to reduce the healing. What do you need for that? You need accuracy. I have straight accuracy on my Sullen Serpent pets. We'll look at her numbers in a moment. In her relic system, I have 100% attack, 60% HP. That's what I came up with. Insignia, I've got, showed that. Okay, other side of the build. This is the only side I'm really using. Let me make a couple of quick switcheroos, and then I'll explain what is going on with our friend. I want to keep that as it is. I want to take that guy out. I would probably use maybe something like this. Okay, yeah, probably that. And if not, probably a Chickaboom. Okay, she is a hero that is an Archdemon hero. Archdemon's my favorite game mode in Castle Clash. And all of my Archdemon heroes are adeptness level 100 and all this kind of stuff. They were the ones that I first did. The very first hero I upgraded with anything was Pumpkin Duke. So always PD first, and then the rest of the Archdemon gang, then the rest of the heroes. Boa Queen, if you want to use her in Archdemon, she will be a very successful hero. We currently have, and I am approximating, we currently have about 4 different Archdemons that are in the Castle Clash rotation, depending on your server. Those 4 different Archdemons are very distinct from one another. Each one with its own set of capabilities, its own limitations as well. Boa Queen is successful in approximately 2 out of the 4 Archdemons and can be a real benefit to your team. Help to get your DPS, damage per second, up. Do so just like a Gunslinger, a Trixie Treat, a Dove Keeper. That's why I have the Sunder. Sunder providing extra hits in combat, extra strikes, or at least I should say extra attempts to hit, because Archdemon is a computer-based game mode. The Archdemon typically isn't dodging. There's Archdemon that is capable of that, but most of the time computer opponents aren't dodging. You've got a Sunder. I've got a Brawler's Favor as well. Question often comes up. Why are we not using in Archdemon? Why are we not using a Oracle's Favor? Why are we not using a Saint's Favor? They all do exactly the same. They're all going to provide extra hits in combat. But earlier in the video, we talked about the insignia bonus that is provided. This Brawler's Favor gives us 9,000 extra attack added to Boa Queen. Go over into one of these, 7,400, 6,600. So we simply use Brawler's Favor to get that extra attack from the insignia. All 3 of the Favor's talents function the same way and provide those extra hits in combat. When I'm using her, I would probably put a punching box on her or a Chickaboom. I'm not worried about using a pet that has traits because her attack is through the roof. We'll look at that in a moment. She probably has the highest attack of any hero that I've got. I've got her, yes, attack, health. Yes. Okay, I got a Pyromage that is simply for Archdemon purposes. Pyromage is going to be an extra buddy or helper in combat, providing extra attacks in combat. I have all attack on her. All attack, so she can always, or most of the time, reliably hit the 500,000 damage cap on the Archdemon. You cannot do more than 500,000 damage. That is why we've got the attack, and we use heroes that do a lot of attacks. We're trying to rack up 500,000 multiple times cumulatively over time by attacking quickly and attacking with multiple heroes or helpers, just like Boa Queen happens to provide. Is there such a thing, real brief, is there such a thing as too much attack in Archdemon? Well, in two of them, no. Because two of them have a massive debuff capability against our heroes. They lower our attack, they lower our attack speed, and when you're debuffed by 2 out of those 4 Archdemons, you'll see that your 500,000 hits drop down to 230,000. So the more attack, the better. You can also do variations of this with crit damage as well. I'm not saying this is the only thing. I'm just talking about the logic behind these decisions. Boa Queen, let's take a look at her stats. Okay, Boa Queen's coming in at nearly 190,000 attack. And she has a pet on her that provides extra hits in combat, gives an attack bonus, but has no traits. Let's just throw a pet on here that's got attack, like the Radiant Hawk. She's over 200,000 attack. That's unheard of. I remember back in the day, a hero would be 40,000 attack, and that was fully maxed. Well, those days are done. Over 200,000. Let's put Punching Box back on. Or Chickaboom. Let's put Chickaboom. It's all the same, at least for the purposes of these numbers. We've got, so about 190,000 attack, unaided by pets with traits. Over 4 million health. Relatively slow attack speed. 1.2 seconds it takes her to attack. Her boas are also slow. She's got a relatively decent movement speed at 365. Accuracy. That's nothing to write home about, nothing to speak of. I'm just using her in computer-based game modes. Typically, they're not dodging. I don't want dodge on her. That's just natural upgrading process. Crit, meh. But with that insignia, at level 8, she's going to get a 66% critical bonus as well as 42% extra critical damage. So while those may appear low, they're perfectly sufficient for a game mode like Archdemon. If she happens to hit below damage cap, the crit will take care of the rest of it. And crit resist, I'm not worried about, but still very nice at 72.25. Boa Queen. If you really like the game mode of Archdemon, that's the only place I'd use her. I was thinking about Ember Arm. No, forget it. It's just too slow. Too slow. So are the boas. If you really like Archdemon, then 50% of the time you can use her and take her out for a spin. She performs very, very nicely. In that specific purpose, I don't think she's as good as a Dove Keeper. Dove has a higher attack speed. I'm not talking about hero capabilities. I'm talking about performance in Archdemon. Dove will have a higher attack speed and be a little bit better in most circumstances. Trixie Treat will be leaps and bounds above them. Gunslinger is sitting atop a mountain with the binoculars looking down at Boa Queen saying, how's the weather down there? With her highest DPS in the game. But Boa does a nice job in Archdemon. If you're not into that, forget it. Just leave Boa Queen. You don't need her. She's not going to change the game for you in any kind of way. She's not going to be a hero you're grabbing on a daily basis. I only dust her off every week to 10 days when AD comes around, and that's it. So in that capability, she does a great job. Other than that, you can let the Boa Queen rest. Young Spark. Young Spark is a really below average hero, not a hero that you need to chase in any way. Young Spark gets a attack speed boost and a dodge boost. That's it. His basic attack, which is not his skill activation, it's just like when he's punching. That basic attack does 7% of the target's maximum health in damage. He gets a heal as well based on that damage. That 7% cannot be changed, cannot be increased, cannot be augmented in any way. It's that way with any of the heroes in this game that do a certain percentage of max health damage. Succubus probably being the most classic example. If you put an unholy pact on Succubus, she's still going to be doing the same amount of damage with her skill activation. It'll be based on a percentage of the enemy's health. It's the same with Young Spark. He is susceptible to reflect damage, so I've got a Dragon's Cover on there. Because he's not really much of an attacker, I have two defensive builds. One where I'm worried about getting reflect, put a little extra Sacred Light on the guy. If I wanted to increase his attack, I certainly could with maybe like a Order-Bound Bow, but I wouldn't be getting the benefit from it because he's still doing fixed 7% damage. So I end up just building him more defensively. I've got the Lawful Shield on here for extra damage reduction, extra health. Other side, I've got a Sacred Light. I could do maybe a Healing Riposte in there. Give him a huge heal as well as invulnerability when he needs it. Can be very, very helpful on the guy. He is only immune to silence. They say conditions from calamity. Silence and calamity in Castle Clash are synonymous with one another. Calamity is what they used to call, they still call and originally called, Ares' skill. He performs calamity. It's another word for silence. So silence and calamity, exactly the same thing. I've got Chimera Pet on him. I have all attack on Chimera. I'm not worried about adding attack on there. I'm worried about the fact that the guy is prone to so many conditions, just like Massacre. And at least Chimera is going to give him immunity to stun, freeze, petrify, entangle for 3 out of 6 seconds. That at least allows him to get out of the garage and hit the highway. It's not going to necessarily make him successful, but at least he'll get a couple of miles in. For his Hero Relic system, I've got dodge, and attack. That's what came up. I don't find that dodge would be in any way helpful to him. He would want as much as much accuracy as possible. Without accuracy, he's not doing anything at all, and there's no way to augment that 7% fixed damage that the enemy takes per hit. Holy Conviction for damage reduction, as well as an extra boost to his healing process. All accuracy. Without that, he would be even more useless than he currently is. Young Spark coming in and around 172,000 attack. Got about 3.9 million health. One of the faster attackers that we have seen so far at 1.25 seconds per attack. He will get a huge attack speed boost on top of that. 390 movement speed, very fast mover. Nice accuracy. The dodge comes from the Hero Relic system, but can't hurt. Crit's really nothing to speak of. Crit damage, nothing to speak of. Crit resist is halfway decent. This is a hero that serves limited purpose in this game. A hero that, again, when read on paper, you think, oh, that's going to be a hero that's going to make an impact. But in practice, he's a dud. He is just going out onto the board, gets a little attack speed boost, doesn't do much, probably get all locked up, and will die a slow and painful death. So Young Spark, not a hero you need to chase in this game or prioritize in any way. Demon Stalker. Demon Stalker is a hero that's ranked pretty low as far as epic heroes goes. He is a hero. He was the first epic hero that was introduced into the game. Yeah, you can get his stats up high, but he serves limited use in this game. Does a very poor job at killing off heroes. He is designed as a hero killer. He has some support qualities, but mostly in a debuff sense. He does an okay job, but there are much, much better heroes. And as soon as you find one of those better epic heroes, like some of the ones that we've talked about already, you'll never use Demon Stalker again. I've got a Dragon's Cover. You bet he can get killed from reflect damage. Well, now that's not going to happen because of the Dragon's Cover. He also gets a damage reduction. Very, very nice for the man. He has a Voidwalker staff to get his attack up. He can do attack damage, but typically not enough to kill off the top premier heroes of today. He can take out little support heroes and help in that way, so, decent in that sense. I have a Asthenia insignia, so keep these debuffs in mind. He will reduce the attack of 2 heroes by 22%. By skill description, he will reduce their attack by another 39%. He will cause an 80% chance to cause inhibit, basically locking the opponent up and not allowing them to perform naturally in combat. That inhibit cannot be removed. This is why I have the other talent. It's the only hero where I have negating prism on. I found it does work well with Demon Stalker. With all these debuffs that this guy causes, weakening the heroes, now negating prism, when he's attacked, the enemy loses 100 energy. That's their entire energy bar. Also, he will disarm them for 3.5 seconds. So you're getting inhibit, disarm, energy reduction, attack reduction, all of these things adding together. I've got Dire Wolfling on him. On my Dire Wolfling, I have all attack. Dire Wolfling will do attacks against the enemy, but will only operate when the hero is under attack. All of these things will only be operating when Demon Stalker is up in front, seeing action under attack. Very much like Royal Mummy or Grief Harpist. He would probably be best in a small board game mode against a group of enemies, Labyrinth, Lost Battlefield, game modes such as that. And that's when he will actually shine to a certain degree. The Mutant Dire Wolf is going to not only cause damage, but it will reduce the energy regain rate of the enemy by 33%. So while his disarm and negating prism effects will take away 100 energy, Dire Wolfling will prevent that energy from being gained back at the normal rate. They'll be slow to gain their energy back. Reduction in energy regain rate. I've got always these combos going on the guy, and he can shut people down, but he's not taking out the premier heroes of today. He'll just help along that process. His hero relic system, I've got 100 attack, 100 accuracy, 100 crit. Great. For his equipment, Holy Conviction, he needs some damage reduction, a better healing process because he can get killed off pretty quickly. Got to get a healer on your team, maybe a Walla, a Rambard. All accuracy. Without that, he's doing nothing except making faces. A Demon Stalker coming in at 180,000 attack. Basically just short of 4 million health. 1.2 seconds per attack. One of our faster attacking epic heroes, at least out of the box without any attack buffs, attack speed buffs. 360 movement speed, not bad at all. 41,000 accuracy, that is because of his hero traits as well as the hero relic trait that added accuracy to him as well. Dodge, I don't think it would help him or serve him in any way. Without accuracy, he's doing nothing. Dodge not going to help him. Crit damage, okay. Crit resist, relatively decent. Demon Stalker, I would put him at the lowest end of the epic heroes. Heroes out there that do a tremendous job in their capacity to attack other heroes. Demon Stalker isn't one of them. As soon as you discover one of the other heroes, Barbarian Rider, for example, you will park Demon Stalker in the back of the garage and he will gather dust. We have Dynamica. Dynamica is, for me as a player, the number one hero in Castle Clash. And I think by leaps and bounds. Best hero killer, best attack hero, highest survivability rate, a hero that I use often and in many different game modes in Castle Clash. Please remember that Castle Clash is not about heroes, it's about game modes. There is no best six. There is no top six. There is no team of six. It's about 5 or 6 heroes per game mode. So there are many game modes where I would never be using Dynamica. So I can't say put them on your team of 6, but if you're going out, here's a game mode. If you're going out hero killing, if you're going out collecting heads throughout the countryside, and you're collecting heads in a trick-or-treat bag, well then this is the guy who says Happy Halloween. Dynamica is the ultimate killer in Castle Clash. He has the ability to globally attack the enemy. That's huge. I mean, anywhere on the board, as soon as they step out, he's going to hit him. Now, he can only attack 2 groups at a time, but he hits everybody in that radius, in that circumference with an area of effect. So he can, if the heroes are clustered together, one shot, one energy ball is plenty to take out that whole group. Ignores damage caps and also ignores damage to health conversion. Damage to health conversion in this game is what Rambar does, what Occultist does, and what the talent or insignia of True Piety does. Turning damage into health doesn't mean a thing to Dynamica. He'll take out a Rambar in a blink of an eye. He also gains the ability to receive a damage cap once his health is below 50%. Then he can only take 40,000 per hit. He also receives immunity to all conditions in the game. Yeah, you heard that right. All conditions in the game. He also heals himself up based on a percentage of his health. Okay, because his damage cap only kicks in when his health is below 50%, you can theoretically one-shot Dynamica. You can do so with a very high attack hero. If you take him down to 0 and completely dispel his health pool, then the damage cap would never kick in, the immunity conditions would never function, and he'd be dead. That is getting increasingly difficult to do as they keep adding upgrade steps and processes in this game. Dynamica is one of those dragons that I think is going to be here for a while. It's going to be about a 3-year cycle before we stop using Dynamica on our attack teams. I don't see him being replaced. I see him being complemented very well by the next dragon they release in this game. He's got some real longevity to him. I've got him built 2 different ways. I've got him with a defensive build, defensive for him, and also providing defense for me in base defense. I also have him with an offensive build. His defensive build is a Dragon's Cover. He's got to have Dragon's Cover or Wicked Armor somewhere in this mix. If he doesn't, he's dead. The reflect damage can kill him off right away, or cumulatively over time, it'll build up so much that he ends up just disappearing after a couple of seconds. So give him a dragon's cover. I think a little bit riskier would be just a wicked armor. Remember, you will not have any damage reduction on the man. I have him with the insignia of Empower. Dragon's cover, Empower. He becomes a super tanky base defender. He has enough ability and attack to kill off the heroes that are attacking you, but he's not going anywhere. It takes a half an army and then some to take him out. 110% health boost, 54% damage reduction. Other side of the build, I've got an order-bound bow. Okay, now he's into offensive hero killing mode. But he will do so much damage that he will end up killing himself. So, I would go with a wicked armor. You will increase his attack, great. But the attack reflect won't come back and be his undoing. If I'm going out hero killing with the man, I also have the option to do one of these tyranny insignias that increases his crit and his crit damage. Now he's an even better hero killer. There are a lot of different ways that you can run this guy, but somewhere in this mix, always put some kind of damage reduction, or you're going to end up regretting it. The equipment, I have Holy Conviction. It's my go-to. That means no matter how I build this guy, let's say order-bound bow, wicked armor, that tyranny insignia, there's no damage reduction on this man at all. But with Holy Conviction there is. And he's getting 180% boost to his natural healing process and from heals he receives from team members. So it really does make quite a difference. He has all accuracy. Without accuracy, Dynamica would just be a tank that sits there. For his relic system, I have 100% attack, 100% dodge, 100% crit. Real nice. I'm more than thrilled with that. More than thrilled. With this system, you get what you get, and you're lucky if you see blue. I happen to see 300% very early on when I got Dynamica. I never would change it. For our pet, it has a lot of different pets that you can run on this guy. I think Sullen Serpent is a very good pet to use because it reduces healing. If you're having a problem with the enemy healing, don't be shy to put in the dragon's cover and put in a soul healer. Now all of a sudden you're shutting down the healing of the enemy. Works wonders. If you lose that first battle, come back with a soul healer and the tide may change. You could do a Radiant Hawk to give him extra damage reduction as well as a better healing process. You could do a Bellicose Bull to increase the damage of the enemy. You could do a Cold Drake to give him increased damage reflect. You could do a Brave Croc in order to give him massive strike damage in combat. You could do a Chimera to help him with energy regain, provide a slight heal, and deal with the conditions that he is susceptible to until he's reached that 50% threshold and the immunities have kicked in. You could also do the new Titan pet, I think, paralyzing as well as increasing the attack of Dynamica and those friendly heroes around him. You could do a punching box on the man. Punching box is going to provide probably the biggest attack bonus that the pets can provide. I find the majority of the time, whether it be player versus player or player versus the computer, I am running a Drogo pet. Drogo pet because it gives him damage reflect. He's going to be the center of attention when it comes to enemies attacking him. Let him reflect some of that damage back. That's great. Also giving him a 100% attack bonus. You start to add all these things up, and you've got a hero that hits into the millions and does so repeatedly. His strikes, I believe, it could be 25 in total. He is doing damage to targets every 0.2 seconds for 5 seconds. So 25 strikes, rapid fire, back to back. It really does make quite a difference. Drogo Pet doing a real nice job of helping to keep him alive, but also providing him with an extra offensive capability. Let's take a look at some of his numbers. We are at 173,000 attack. Now, let's switch pets. I'll put in Chimera, for example. And we're at 184,000 all of a sudden. And while 184 is a very, very high number, much higher than we were a moment ago, the ability to boost his attack by 100%. You can't really beat that. So I don't mind the lower attack because it's going through a 100% attack multiplier. So I'm fine with the 174. He's got approximately 4 million health. He's got one of the fastest attack speeds unaugmented of any of the epic heroes, taking 1.1 seconds to perform a successful attack. 365 movement speed gives him an above average movement speed. I've got him with 26,000 accuracy. I've got all those different pets that have accuracy on him. I can always get that up even higher. Throw on my Sullen Serpent. Boom, I'm at 52,000 accuracy and suppressing healing. So lots of different ways that you can run this man. Dodge, I'm not concerned at all. I don't see dodge being helpful to him in any way. Crit is halfway decent. That's 6,300 crit. You're going to be critting against a lot of heroes. You'll definitely be critting against the majority of computer-based opponents. Crit damage is not too high, but I can certainly get that up through insignia, like the Tyranny insignia. Get that up with even a Vigorous Fury and Wicked Armor, or a Vigorous Fury and Dragon's Cover. If his crit is already high enough, I could do a Brute Force and Dragon's Cover. A number of different ways that you can run him. Crit resist is quite high too. It's 7225. Dynamica, best hero in Castle Clash, strongest hero, most highest survivability rate, best tank, best hero killer, best dragon. I think he's going to be here for a long time. He's not a hero to use in every game mode. He will not perform very well in game modes that perhaps call for high DPS or perhaps a little bit more nuanced of a performance. He's a real brawler. So when it comes to attacks and it comes to killing off the baddies, go with Dynamica. He's your number one pick and the best epic hero that the game has released so far. Hope you enjoyed this look at all of the epic heroes in Castle Clash. We looked at some of the best heroes in the game today and also how to set them up. It's always fun to look at heroes this way, build videos, hero guide videos. I feel though as a player that it's not about right and wrong. It's not about me saying, hey, this is the best talent. I'm sharing how I set up my heroes. I'm sharing the kind of game that I play and the logic that I put behind my decisions. So I'm not saying they're right. I'm saying that's my personal player experience. And the beauty of YouTube is that I get to share it with other people. This is a spectrum, this game. How well we can utilize our hero. That is going to be based on playstyle. And playstyle really does dominate our decision making. Let's try to make expert heroes. Beware generalists. You will have a hero that's good at a lot of things, but great at none. Remember, it is the best hero for the game mode, not the best hero. It is the best team for the game mode, not the best team. We are trying to build teams for specific game modes, not the other way around. And last but not least, if you feel yourself down in that valley, if you feel yourself having a hard time in Castle Clash, if you feel as though you're getting beaten up all over the place out there, this too shall pass. It's a game that has a 7-year history now. It's a game that's constantly evolving. There are times in this game, a lot of times in fact, where game balance, game equilibrium seems really out of whack. Put one hero out there that demolishes all of them, wait a couple of months, now there's a counter that makes that hero invalid in a sort of way. I think it's up to us to continually discuss how our heroes evolve over time, how best to use them, share these tips and strategies with each other to get the best play experience we can at a Castle Clash. It is not player versus player, it's the players versus the game. Happy clashing, everybody. Bye-bye.